of Time Show. Go check out that show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick Of Time Show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about the Knicks loss to the Spurs. Knicks lose to the Spurs in a heartbreaker. Very winnable game. I'm telling you right now, Lee, I know this in a big grand scheme of things, this is not a big deal loss, but I'm going to get stuff off my chest.
Me too.
I'm just letting you guys know right now. I know this doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I know we're still a good team, but I'm going to vent because I'm a Knicks fan, all right? And that's just what it is, all right? But the Knicks lose 132 to 134, a very winnable game. Wemby hobbled, not even in the game in the fourth quarter, pissing away defensive assignments all game long, despite the bench came to play, man. It gave, 55 points off the bench. Knicks shot, 22 threes on the night, and we still find a way to lose. We're going to talk about all the nonsense that we saw today, all right? All the good efforts wasted. Before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to my guy. It is the Latin assassin, Bleacher Report contributor, Posting and Toasting contributor, ESPN contributor, my guy, Elias Escobedo. What's good?
My main man, Jay Ellis. I actually poofed up the mullet. I was hoping to make my fancy appearance today after a W. I guess I'm going to have to let Swaggy fresh for an L. It's time to have a tough conversation about Karl-Anthony Towns, brother. I'm with you, man. In the grand scheme of things, this loss is not, any more or less important than another one. But this was a very winnable game. At one point, a 20-point lead. At one point, I was celebrating and yelling in my apartment just for us to choke it away in the last 2 minutes. So there's a lot to talk about. Good, bad, and a lot of ugly, too.
A lot of ugly. And listen, there was a lot of good effort here. Our young guys, they stepped up. Coach went 11 deep once again. 55 points off against. Once again, McCullough played great. Once again, big defensive plays. Diawara showed glimpses. Once again, started today. But the Knicks, for the entire season, had this one Achilles heel, and it's been the three-point defense. The three-point defense all year, we've been bottom of the league, teetering on the 29th and 28th. I haven't even checked recently where we stand as it falls to three-point defense. But you have Champagne here, who's already on a heater the entire game. He goes off for 11 threes. 11 threes. And it's not like these threes are like, oh, man, contested shots. Players draped all over him. Wow. End of the game, wide open. Nobody near him. Blown assignments. Again and again and again. We have to clean this up, guys. Like, we have to. And I know there hasn't been a lot of time to practice, and I know that the Knicks have been winning so far this season, but I feel like we deserve to lose this game, and I don't want to lose. I don't like losing, but I'm almost happy we lost this game because I feel like the Knicks do need a wake-up call because we've been winning games despite the defense. We've been slipping on defense for about 2 to 3 weeks. We was top 10, slipped to 15th. But we've been doing well in fourth quarter, so we're turning it off and turning it on. We're bad for 3 quarters, and we're the top fourth quarter defensive team in the league. This time, we give up 40-something points in the fourth quarter, and it goes to tell you we can't just turn it on and turn it off when you want to. We got to play consistently the entire game, and I think we need to address that. What do you have to say to that, Lee?
Yeah, to me, we lost this for 2 reasons. Number one, Karl-Anthony Towns was absolutely atrocious on defense. And I got a long monologue for that when we eventually talked about him as an individual player. But team-wise, Julian Champagne, no doubt one of the best 3-and-D players, one of the best snipers in the NBA. That's known. I would also say it's fair to say he's the best shooter on San Antonio's squad, period. And when they need threes, he's the one that their offense sets up to be a volume shooter to try to shoot themselves back in the game when they're at a deficit. So it's obvious he is going to be the person you can't lose off of ball screens or missed rotations, which is exactly what happened, allowing him to hit 11 threes for a career high. Again, a mantra that has echoed throughout the Knicks fandom for 25 years. The entire time Dolan's on the team, some bum on an opposing squad has a career high on it. And how did it happen? It didn't happen because, to me, he's a Ray Allen level shooter where he can, with very minimal space, hit a shot and knock down threes. It happened on simple basketball actions and a lack of basketball executions, flare screens, which is, I mean, listen, bro. It's one thing for Karl-Anthony Towns to cooked on that. It's one thing for Tyler Cole to cooked on that. But for Mikal Bridges, cooked on that, that's where I was like, this is a team-wide defensive lapse. And the team, not just Towns, although Towns to me lost it in the last minute and a half, the 2 minutes, but the team allowed the San Antonio Spurs to get back in because Champagnie was scoring off of going under on ball screens and allowing them to set those flare screens, which allowed Champagnie off ball to curl around out of space and pass the perimeter and be catch and shoot threat, which that's a very simple action that we should be covering, especially when Victor Wembanyama is not even he's in the locker room. Why can't the defense adjust? The hub is gone. Now you focused your attention on guarding the perimeter because you don't have an anomaly on the floor that can bend your defense. That is the most frustrating part, is that they went on the run when their best player, a generational talent, wasn't even on the court.
Like, literally the only threats at that point is De'Aaron Fox and Champagnie. We had freaking Castle was under check the whole entire game. He's coming back from an injury. His thumb is all messed up. You got 2 assignments after that, and y'all blew it. You absolutely blew it between Mikal Bridges dying on screens, not getting over it, between Clarkson getting confused on 600 and rotations in a row. Like, it was a mess. It was an entire mess. And I'm just like, dude, I love the scoring. I love the fast pace. I love that we was able to get 132 points. I love that we are top defense. But if we can't play passable NBA defense, the team isn't going anywhere. And that's why I'm saying I'm glad we lost this game, because the team needs a freaking wake-up call. We've been winning all these games by not playing defense the entire time, and you think that's how we can win a chip. That is not how we're winning a chip. We're not winning a chip playing one side of the damn basketball. We got to play 2 sides.
Excellent point. And as I tweeted, this was a finals matchup, in my opinion. Very possible these are 2 teams that end up in the NBA finals, and we got our work cut out for them because, and it's important too. Let me define what a flare screen is, because we've been talking about making sure we're defining terms so that the audience is as caught up as we are. A flare screen is usually an off-ball screen that happens away from the action. But instead of a shooter setting the screen and then that player who is being screened for goes toward the basket, they go away from it, usually in the corner or the top of the key. What's so frustrating, JLS, but tonight is that flare screen was happening in the same part of the court constantly on the top and right side over and over and over again, which got Champagnie hot, which means not only can you defend the same player, you can't defend the same action. Bro, that is a team-wide breakdown, and you're absolutely right about Jordan Clarkson. He giveth and he taketh. Love. I mean, he was a one-man offensive wrecking crew in the first half. One of the most dynamic offensive sequences. And not only that, he was boxing out too. Before I bash him completely, I loved how he was getting in the paint on their bigs and really tangling them up on box outs and then neutralizing them as offensive rebounding threats, allowing our bigs like Karl-Anthony Towns and OG to get solid rebounds. To me, solid. But on the defensive end, bro,
it was rough.
And Fox saw it, and Fox was like looking at his chops. Barbecue chicken, Jordan Clarkson, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns in pick and roll. Everybody was cooking everybody in that 4th quarter. And to me, it was alarming because that level of defense, really, the offense can outscore maybe 26 out of the other 29 teams in the NBA. But there's 3 of them that's not good enough for. Denver, OKC, San Antonio. Those 3 teams, you got to play better team defense. You can't just put it on one guy, which is why I'm starting on the team side, not on town side, because it was a team-wide breakdown. And it's not the first time, Jealous. We've seen Mikal Bridges lapse on defense this season before.
Yeah.
Right? Even though Josh Hart is better and Brunson's better, they've been part of a team-wide breakdown before as well this season. So this is, you're right. And we've heard Mike Brown say, we haven't had enough practice time to go over some of these principles beyond watching tape. That's fine, dandy. Do something. Don't take off on All-Star. Go through defensive principles and run some scrimmages to where you're getting this down, to where you don't allow simple high school actions of a flare screen to determine you losing a 20-point lead.
And the crazy part is, too, one of the best defenders, McCullough, like there was a portion of this game where we was hedging and recovering. We were flying all around in that second quarter. I felt like McCullough's defense was inspiring for the rest of the team. Everybody else was flying around. And there's parts of the game where I'm just like, man, I know this is a tight part of the game, but maybe we throw McCullough in here. I don't know. I understand that hesitancy to do it in that situation, but it was like, because we were still up and it was still a close game, I understand why the coach didn't do it, because we still were kind of in control. But it's like defensively, man, it was just hard to watch us just choke away the game the entire game. And even in transition, I feel like we've been bad in transition all season long, where we don't guard the paint and then guard the trailer three. Champagny was even getting the trailer threes off. It was like, come on, guy. Like, you got one job, guard him. And y'all couldn't do that. But I digress. Do you want to get into Cat too? Because since we're talking about the defensive side of the ball, we can get into Cat if you want to before we get into everything else.
Yes, I definitely want to roast. This is going to be the night of roasting Cat. But before you do, you brought up a really good point about transition and Champagny shots being in transition. I want to point to one more thing. Even when they weren't in transition, we had a hell of a time guarding them getting downhill. And I'm not talking about just in pick and roll. There was another action they were employing that really was, and I was seeing it, and I was trying to figure out, so I have a Rolodex of glossary terms I was going through, and I was trying to pinpoint, what is this called? And it's called a slip action. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. I learned it today, so I'm going to tell the audience as well, so we're all on the same page. A slip action in hoops is another off-ball movement where the strainer faints the strain. And we saw a lot of guys doing this tonight. We saw the 3-guard lineup. Castle did it. Harper did it. Fox did it for other guys, and then he would be back on ball. But after you set the strain, it's a real quick action where you cut to the basket in open space. Then the defender meets you, but by that time, you're already at the hoop and you're getting a lay-in. That creates downhill action when you're already in a half-court set. So even if the defensive is set, that fake ball screen allows for the defense to have to shift and be in rotation, and someone gets downhill. And that someone tonight in the fourth quarter, De'Aaron Fox. They utilize that action over and over and over again from the top, going north to south. Again, a simple, very simple basketball action. So simple, I was able to learn tonight. But somehow the New York Knicks, guys with 8, 9, 10-plus seasons, weren't able to guard it when it was happening in real time. That's confounding. Not only is it confounding, that is a defensive team-wide lapse again, which is why, yes, we're going to roast Karl-Anthony Towns, but the team broke down defensively, not just one guy.
Now let's get to Karl-Anthony Towns real quick. And trust me, we're going to get to some of the things that we like to, but I just got to get this off my chest. Karl-Anthony Towns, there were a couple of fouls where I feel like weren't really justified. I will say that. And I do feel like the coach is hesitant to challenge some of those fouls early, but I feel like he should sometimes, but we didn't. But also, when it comes to the drop coverage and the screening rolls, like I feel like he was having problems guarding those screening rolls, dropping too much, or stupid fouls, fouling with your offhand.
Oh man.
What else? The biggest play. We were down in the fourth quarter. He didn't box out Luke Cornett and then fouls him instantly for an and 1. Mentally, Karl-Anthony Towns, as good as a passing game as he had, as good as a scoring game as he had in the first quarter, defensively, he just seemed like he was all over the place. It was back to the silly ticky-tack, handy foul stuff that he seemed like he was going away from when the game got tight and his bad habits took over in crunch time. It kind of took him out the game, and it was like, bro, we just needed you to be solid for 2 minutes. This game is still winnable, and you kind of pissed it away for us.
I'll start with the good. Their number one objective this game seemed to be taking away Karl-Anthony Towns, both as a scorer and a passer, which is not easy But you do have an advantage when you have Victor Wembanyama on your team who can guard 2 on the ball and switch very easily, seamlessly, without any pressure when he's guarding the perimeter. So I thought Karl-Anthony Towns was limited tonight and how explosive he could be. And part of that was his own damn fault for those 2 dumbass fouls where it was just his hand just getting in there and trying to swipe the ball away from the ball handler. And the refs are like, we've seen so much tape of you by now after, 8-9 years in the league. We know this is a foul. We're going to call it. And those type of things get in his head. It hurts his confidence, and he knows his team and the coaching staff is frustrated with him. And I feel when that happens, and I hate Brunson's the opposite this way. When Brunson lets his team down, he does everything he can to right the wrong. OG's the same way. Deuce is the same way. Bridges is the same way. Hart is the same way. Towns is not. And that's probably my number one biggest gripe. When Towns knows he's let his team down or he's gotten himself in foul trouble, his mind slips.
It snowballs. It absolutely snowballs.
Worse and worse and worse. Now he's getting cooked by Luke Cornett and pick and roll.
Yeah.
Now he's getting cooked in drop coverage by De'Aaron Fox. Now he's getting cooked off switches off of those flare screens for Justin Champagnie.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like at that point, you're detrimental to the team no matter how much gravity you inflict. But as a threat beyond the arc, and the defense was shifting, they would stay honest on him and stay at the level to make sure he didn't start hitting threes to try to run that lead back up when San Antonio won the run. But it doesn't matter if on the opposite end of the floor, you're an absolute liability, and this is not the first game. My frustrations are a buildup for a season and a half now of frustrations of being an absolute dumbass on the defensive end.
Yeah.
It's funny. First 5 minutes, my first tweet for the game was, Knick fans, what pisses you off more? Julius Randle's lazy defense or Karl-Anthony Towns' stupid defense? Because both of them are Towns, bro. And I tweeted that before I even knew what was going to happen this game. And wouldn't you know it, in my opinion, the Clarkson foul was bad. The Towns one was worse. That level of ball watching, it's not laziness. It's being confused, and you're not thinking about the game. You're detached from the game, and you're lost in rotation, and Cornette is abusing you in the dunker spot. Get it together, bro. I don't know how, but you got to for us to win this chip.
Now, for real, man, you really got outplayed by the Knicks second round leftovers from like 10 years ago, bro. Like, you need to get it together. When Luke Cornett is showing you up in crunch time, you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, I need to be better. You need to be better. Point blank period. I'm gonna get to some of the good parts, man, because there was some good things here. Although, like, this was a very frustrating game to watch because of our lack of defense. It still was really impressive watching this Knicks put up 132 points versus a stifling defense, because the Spurs defense is no slouch. No slouch. And we were able to do it in a variety of ways. We were able to run them up after make. We ended the score after makes. We were able to pass the ball efficiently. We had a lot of assists. I think we had 30-something assists in the game. I didn't check. We had 22 threes on the night. We had contributions from everywhere. Our young kids once again played well. I really, really liked what McCullough is doing for this team. Mini Josh Hart's out here. He's kind of like an energy booster for everybody. I feel like he raises everybody else's floor up when he gets in the game, because now he's energized. He's screaming. Now he's screaming. Everybody else wants to scream now. Everybody else is starting to scramble. I think he's an infectious player. And he did well. Diawara, he started off the game with 2 threes. He one-on-one guarded Wemby well. And did some little things. Now it seemed like he lost his confidence as the game went on. Yes. Funny enough, I felt like they were kind of giving him the Josh Hart treatment.
They were,
where they hit 2 threes and it's like, we don't believe you.
Yep.
They put Wemby on him, a la Josh Hart, and said, okay, I'm gonna cheat off of you on defense and get you to just keep hitting threes. And I think it got in his head a little bit, and which is why he only played 43 seconds in the third quarter, and he put Deuce McBride in. And when Deuce McBride came in, none of that cheating stuff started anymore. All of a sudden, Wembanyama had to actually play Karl-Anthony Towns and play up on the level. So, like, there were some things that we saw that were nice: the scoring, the passing, Kolek synergy with Karl-Anthony Towns, but like, the defense to me was really, really the issue. But there's some things to point out. What do you have to say? I don't know if you want to go into more detail.
I do. You could, bro. Excellent take. Solid series of takes. Agree with everything you said in that regard. And I want to give Towns additional flowers. The reason our wheel offense worked so well and the reason that we're so plug and play has so much to do with Karl-Anthony Towns. Just his mere presence allows for all this weak side action, off-ball action that's happening to actually happen without being blitzed and doubled and taken off and blown up because Towns demands his defender, especially Wemby, to stay on him. It's a different story when Towns is sitting and DOR is out there because now you can take Wemby and turn him into a roamer. Now he's able to blow up plays and allow DOR to stay on the perimeters. As you said, dare him to shoot. A la Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, all the guys in the past who other teams are like, we don't give a damn. You hit 2, cool, hit 4 more. And we're going to keep your best actions neutralized. Karl-Anthony Towns has been excellent at allowing for those things to adjust. Something that a lot of the kids have him to thank because of his gravity that he produces when they share the floor with him. And Mike Brown's been very intentional about sharing the floor with Cat, all these young guys, Cole specifically, because that two-man game is starting to cook. I also believe listen, we lost, but I said before the show started, there's a lot to be happy about. Hyperbolic hot take. And you said this recently, but not as far as I'm going to go. Isn't it crazy how we're threading the needle with being a championship contender and developing the kids? You said that multiple pods.
Right.
I'm going to take it a notch. I'm going to raise you. This is the best young core I've ever seen the Knicks have in my 25 years as a fan, and we have it while we're a championship contender. In the 25 years of watching hoops, I've never seen a championship team, not just the Knicks, any team, be a championship contender while having the best young core of the decade or 2 decades or 2.5 and developing them in real time. It is incredible how every night it's a new kid that steps up. Diawara, Trey Jamison, Hot Porty, Kolek, unbelievable, man. And all of them are so varied skill sets. All of them but Kolek are two-way guys. And Kolek, Hot Porty and Kolek are liabilities sometimes, but they all try on defense. And they bring a little bit of everything. And they're kind of like the Pokemon, like the lower level version of a starter, right? Diawara, OG, Kolek is kind of Brunson. Hot Porty's a little bit of Cat. And then obviously McCullough is Josh Hart. But I love it, man. That was the most happy I've been because I looked at San Antonio. I'm like, they're kind of doing the same thing, right? Like they have this young core. It's also their championship core. Our young core is our third stringers, but you can see how these guys can become plug and play because of a system that Mike Brown has implemented. And it takes Karl-Anthony Towns he's a generator of that offense, and he's so key. It makes it such a conundrum. How do you close with the kids if Karl-Anthony Towns is out there and he's playing terrible defense? You can't, which is what Mike Brown did tonight. He couldn't close with them because if you had them out there with Towns, it now makes them a liability. And that's why you had to close with who I think should be the real starting 5, which is Deuce and Bride with the other 4 starters over Josh Hart. And Deuce was unbelievable. But I love the fact that we're developing 2 things at once, our championship contention and our young kids at the same time.
I don't know if this is the best young core we had. I just think we're not used to seeing our young core play significant minutes and win with the veterans, because I feel like there's been other cores that we had that were like higher ceilings, like the David Lee, Channing Frye, Nate Robinson core. Like who? Like I
don't think that had. You think that had a higher ceiling? First of all, that was just 3 players. This is like 5, so there's more.
Okay. Let's talk about Tyler Kolek, right? Out of everybody in this core, he might have the highest maybe floor. You would say maybe highest floor, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Highest ceiling, maybe you're going Diawara, but very raw. Like still very raw. Like defensive, like
I don't know.
Diawara is raw though. Like he hit 3 hit here.
No.
You can listen, Lee. I'm telling you.
Oh.
Defensively, when I'm talking about raw,
okay.
His defense is ahead of his offense. Yes, he hit a few threes in a row. Yes, he scored you 18 points the other game. But you can see his confidence isn't like 100% there yet. It's still like in that in-between stage where if I get hot, I can get confident. I can get confident in these spaces. But it's like I wouldn't say, can you say today that he will have a better career than Channing Frye? Can you have a
yes.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definite though.
I think that Channing Frye obviously has a better floor because he came into the lead with things at that time that were ahead of a curve. But I think right now DOR's ceiling is absolutely higher than Channing.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you're betting on the future. I feel like there was teams that we had players before that were younger that may be better now, even though the DOR ceiling is higher. He still has to meet the ceiling. Like I feel like this is one of those. I feel like this is one of those situations where people go, like, this person is better, better this MVP candidate, and he's like, you haven't done it yet, but you've seen the glimpses, and you're forcing. Exactly. This is exactly Cade and Brunson all over again. Cade, yes, has the potential, but that man has to do something, and that's what I'm saying about these kids. Like they have the potential. Can he be Siakam? Yeah, he could. Maybe he could be Siakam, but maybe he can't. But he has to show that he can. He has the ceiling. He has the motor. He has the drive to do that. But he still has to kind of show improve. He scored 18 points one time in his rookie year. Mm-hmm. He has to kind of show more. This is what I'm saying. So like it's potential, yes, but I'm not ready to say we have the best young core, and I'm not ready to go that far yet.
Those are fair points. There's a reason why I've never made the Pascal Siakam comparison, because I don't want to compare him to me a Hall of Famer. I think that's hyperbolic. I'm not going to do that. I do think that he has the skill set that the NBA is absolutely thirsty for.
Absolutely. That's why he's been playing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Channing Frye did not. Channing Frye was his style was ahead of his time, actually. He wasn't the prototypical 4 or 5 at that time. In fact, those type of 4, Jonathan Bender 4 and 5s, were phased out of the league. He was very lucky and incredibly blessed to have the long career that he did as a championship winner with Cleveland.
Tell me you wouldn't take Channing Frye on his team right now when his prime is a backup big. You do that in a heartbeat.
For sure, absolutely. He's actually exactly what we need.
Exactly.
Play 4 and small ball 5. 100%. But I think there's more players, 5 guys compared to 3, and Nate Robinson. He had no ceiling.
David Lee was an all-star.
Who?
David Lee.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant Nate. Yeah, David Lee was an all-star and core piece of that championship Warriors team. I think the ceiling is still higher here with these 5 because you don't even know what the ceiling is. To me, it's not. Tolit is the only one. My dad says he could be Steve Nash. I don't think he's that. I disagree with that, both here and with him. But I think he can be TJ McConnell, which is a finals backup point guard. If he can be that, we're set for the next 5, 6, 7 years, as long as Brunson's in his prime. But these 5 guys, man, they're all 5 extremely talented. You could even extend that to 6, depending on how you feel about Trey Jamison III.
I think I gotta hold your horses though. You got all-star, you got Channing Frye, you had a 10-year career, you had Nate Robinson, who was killing in Chicago at one point and was a spark plug off the bench. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I love the kids. We need to see more. That's all I'm saying. I'm excited about the kids. We just need to see more. But back to Deuce, though. Back to Deuce. Deuce McBride, man. If you have an argument of maybe something that coach could have did differently, maybe he's played Deuce more than 25 minutes. That's maybe if you had an argument because our 3-point defense was so bad. Like Lee said, the flare screens were hurting us, and I feel like we just needed more point of attack defense in general, considering how bad McCall and Jordan Clarkson were playing in that regard. So maybe if there's something that you could have seen differently, maybe it was more Deuce McBride, especially considering Deuce McBride is an automatic 3-point shot. You have to play up on him, and he makes it so. Like, he even shot a 3 over Wemby, and like he has this uncanny ability to guard really well on the perimeter, get to the rim, and play just enough defense to bother your shot, but then back up so he doesn't foul. And I feel like I've seen him do that so many times on these pick and roll offensive players that I'm just like, man, I really wish Deuce. I really miss Deuce, man. So Deuce McBride to me was phenomenal. Had like a 20-point outing, almost. And when the game was on the line too, when the game was on the line and the ball went to Deuce for the corner for 3, like I'm more confident in Deuce hitting the corner 3 with the game on the line than McCall.
Yes,
shooting the corner 3 with the game on the line.
Agreed. I think I'm gonna be a wild card here. The 5 I would have ended with, definitely agree on Deuce, is Brunson, Clarkson, Deuce, Kevin McCullough Jr., and Cat. That would have been the 5. I would have set Bridges and OG, who had awful shooting nights tonight. And by the fourth quarter, Bridges was getting cooked
Yeah.
by De'Aaron Fox. So to me, he earned the benching. OG Anunoby, I know he is such an elite defensive piece, and it's very questionable to say he shouldn't be on the floor. I understand that, but I think Kevin McCullough Jr. and Deuce were providing such great point of attack defense. That was more of a priority with Wemby sitting than OG Anunoby guarding Luke Cornett as a fronter or something like that. The perimeter defense, to me, to priority, that should have been a 5 to close the game. But even if it was the 5, Karl-Anthony Towns is still going to make a dumbass foul. He's still going to ball watch because at that point, he was out of it, just mentally. And I disagree with you. I think you were a little harsh on Luke Cornett. I agreed. Yeah, Phil Jackson's best move, maybe. It was Luke Cornett seemed to be better than even KP, but he's become a baller. Like Boston Celtics.
I was being facetious. I was being facetious to prove a point.
For sure. He is still someone that Karl-Anthony Towns hypothetically should be able to stop in crunch time, because we've seen Towns stop the Durants, stop the Shinguns, stop the Jokers when it matters in playoff series even. But the fact that he allowed that offensive rebound and foul to Cornett was, to me, that is what made me drop an F-bomb that I'm sure every neighbor below and next to me heard. I was furious. Again, not in that singular moment. It was a buildup, a crescendo of dumbass foul for a season and a half. It's become to the point to where I'm feeling the same push and pull I did with Randall, where it's like brilliant offensively, absolutely a liability defensively.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out when Josh Hart comes back. I mean, here's the thing. Defensively, we've been horrible. What I feel like when we've been bad defensively, we've been able to make up for the bad defense sometime by getting those extra possessions on offensive boards. And you're missing Josh Hart, we're missing Mitchell Robinson. So that means we have to have even more attention to detail on the defensive side, and we just didn't have that today.
Yep.
So we really missed Mitch and Josh Hart today. We got killed on the boards again for the second game in a row. So I definitely want to point that out. They out-rebounded us, let's see, 46 to 60. They out-rebounded us by like 16, I think. So, we just need to do, like I said, we're missing those guys. But when we're missing those guys, we have to be that much better on the defensive end because we don't have the second and third tries that we're used to having. And it's crazy. We still, at the same time, still scored 130 freaking 2 points and lost.
And we had 32 assists as a team, and we shot 42% from 3, and we only had 10 turnovers. It's like it was a team loss as defensive breakdowns.
Yeah, for real. And the other thing I'm really curious to see is how Josh Hart is implemented back in this. Because if you guys remember, I'm gonna rewind. Remember when before Josh Hart got into the lineup, Mike Brown, he was getting deep in the bench. He was playing 10 players, 11 players. This is how he was playing before Josh Hart got into the lineup. Josh Hart gets there. He tells the coach, I need more time. I don't like being out of rhythm. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence or not that Josh Hart is out of the lineup and he's going back to that 10 and 11 man lineup. I'm wondering, once Josh Hart gets back, does he still go 10 deep? Does he still go 11 deep? I'm wondering if that happens, or if he changes philosophy and tells Josh Hart to kind of get on board. I'm really curious because part of the defense, I feel like, too, like part of the flying around defense sometimes that can benefit us is we can keep changing in and out players when one person is not getting winded all the time. So that's the benefit of going that deep. The con is usually the offensive flow is kind of thrown off, but we scored 132 points. So what the hell? Like, I don't know. We had 73 points at halftime. So offensive flow, offensive schmo, like we were cooking. So I wonder how this happens. I wonder how this goes when Josh Hart comes back. I really wonder.
I think Josh Hart needs to adjust to us rather than us adjusting to Josh Hart personally. I think Kevin McCullough Jr.'s minutes are absolutely zapped. I think Diawara still plays as Diawara brings things that Hart doesn't, specifically the handle. and playmaking in the short roll, which I've been immensely impressed with. His ability to pass and make the right read in that short roll has been amazing. I'm not sure if Kevin McCullough Jr. is there yet. I think I don't know what the ceiling of any of these kids are, except for Kolek, in my opinion. So Josh Hart, to me, maybe he has to play more positions. Maybe he's playing 2, 3, and 4. Maybe it means that Yabu's minutes are reduced, and he's taking whatever garbage time Yabu was playing, 4 or 5 minutes a game at the 4, playing as a cat as a 4 or 5. Maybe it's at a positional thing where he gets looks in different spots so he can get his rhythm going downhill or from 3, whatever it is. But you can't stop the development. That to me is it's second only to winning a championship.
Yeah.
In order for us to win a championship, we do have to develop 1 or 2 of these kids this season to play spot minutes, even in the playoffs, in my opinion. There's going to be a series where either Kolek or Hatporti or Diawara is playing 10, 12 minutes in a game. And that's going to be crucial, 10, 12 minutes, because if it's Kolek, it's when Brunson's sitting. If it's Diawara, it's when OG's sitting. If it's Hatporti, it's when Mitch is sitting. So that's extremely crucial to me, and we can't sacrifice that. Just get someone really happy in whatever role they're in.
I agree. I agree. And here's the thing. To go back to the other point about ending with McCullough, I feel like if McCullough had more minutes before today, he might have done that. Because if you remember during the first game with the Spurs versus the Knicks in the NBA Cup, we ended with Kolek.
Mm-hmm.
We ended with Kolek there. And I think it's because Kolek had so many reps that Mike Brown was comfortable ending with Kolek. So, like, I feel like if McCullough, I don't know how long Josh Hart is out, but I feel like McCullough keeps building on his confidence and keeps getting minutes. If there's a time where McCall isn't playing well or OG isn't playing well, I think he would roll out McCullough in the fourth quarter if he got more minutes and got more confidence in him that he can perform in those times.
Mm.
But I'm not sure if that's going to happen depending on when Josh Hart gets back. If we'll ever get there, because at this point he's like the 12th man and getting some minutes right now.
Right.
All right. I got it off my chest now. I got everything out of my chest. Salute to the chat, man. Shout out to you, everybody rocking with the KLT show. If you like the show, man, hit the like and subscribe. We have the every game talking Knicks basketball. Win, lose, or draw. We're here talking Knicks basketball, and I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Listen, like a couple of weeks ago, we were 50 subscribers away from 9,000. We are now, I think, like 18 subscribers away from 9,000. So if you want to help us get to 9,000, support us. You've been watching the show. You've been watching for a long time, but you haven't hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button now and help us get to 9K and join the KLT family. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to JT Riddick, Nick Yak, Fritz Alessandro, best mod in the game, Prezi the Boss, Felicia Lee. Who else is in the East? East Blue Drew. Shout out to Knicks Nation TV. Shout out to everybody. Sherwin, who was here earlier. Anna Grill, who's always here as well. Everybody rocking with the KOT show. We appreciate all the support that you're giving us. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to mention, Lee?
Even without Victor Wembanyama, this is probably the second best team in the West, in my opinion. I'm not going to disrespect OKC, who has a crown, and not put them first. But San Antonio seems to have OKC's numbers. So there's a very big possibility if they see each other in the West Conference Finals that the Spurs end up beating them, since they're 3-0 against them this season. But they're excellent at so many different things. Their offense, they run an even more efficient offense than we do, if not just as good. They're constantly getting guys open. As I said, they're using very simple actions to confuse the defense. But the guys like Justin Champagnie, not only get him open, but trust him to be the hub that gets them back in the game and eventually will lead. It doesn't have to be De'Aaron Fox and pick and roll every time. It doesn't have to be Keldon Johnson trying to run downhill and bully ball into the paint. It can be a role player. There's 8th, 9th guy. They're 3-and-D dude off the bench who comes in, part-time starter, who comes in and just drills threes on us because they saw a defensive lapse and they took advantage of it. That's smart coaching. That's smart teamwork. That's smart execution. They're an excellent point of attack defensive team, too. They have 3 guys that can all be point of attack. They have 3 deuces in Castle, Harper, and Fox. Not many other teams can say that. Not even OKC can say that they have 3 guys who are that fast and that switchable at the point of attack. And it gave Brunson some fits. Brunson took more difficult threes than he typically has to because of that ball dog defense and the excellent strain navigation by San Antonio's guards as well. They're a very well-disciplined team, and actually shocks you, but they're as young as they are. And a lot of these guys have only been in the league 1, 2, 3 years. They're a formidable championship contender. Nonetheless, we should have won. Because at one point we had a 20-point lead. At one point, the best player maybe in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama, was in the locker room. At one point, Jalen Brunson was absolutely cap and clutch, but closed out the third, and we choked. We lost this game on dumbass fouls by Jordan Clarkson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and a team-wide defensive breakdown from man number 1 to man number 8. To me, that is unacceptable. That part of the loss is unacceptable. Losing to a championship opponent, understandable.
Right.
But losing the way we did, unacceptable. And
Absolutely.
that might mean someone's benched next game. That might mean less minutes for someone next game. Like Clarkson needs less minutes. I think Towns needs less minutes next game. There has to be some type of accountability for the players that caused this game to lose. It was across the board, but specifically, you can really pinpoint to 1 or 2 guys that absolutely let us down defensively.
Yeah, I can already tell you that film session is going to be hot fire, and we got to come out with a better effort next game. Now, you know what? This team is actually a great team. I would have really loved to have won this game today, just for the conversation piece, man. Just because I do feel like even with the Knicks winning, there's certain. I still feel like there's people in the league who was like, yes, the Knicks are that team, and there's some people who are like they still kind of have us as an afterthought. And I felt like beating the Spurs again without Mitch, without Josh Hart would have been a nice statement win. Like, yes, we won the cup with them, and we won today without our best rebounders. We found a way to win still. We didn't do that today because of the defense wasn't up to par, and we have to clean that up. On the bright side, though, when I'm looking at the way they defend, because like you said, Lee, they have 3 really good point of attack defenders. The teams that I worried about that wore us down last season, Houston, being OKC, they wore us down because they were just zeroing in on Jalen Brunson. And we scored 132 points against a really tough defensive team, which makes me believe that against these other tough defensive teams in OKC and Houston, we can replicate that again. Like by having Brunson off board like we've been doing before, like having Coleb handle the ball, like having McCall handle the ball in certain spots and having Brunson get pull up threes. I feel like we are in the right direction as far as a formula.
Yes,
to beat these tough defensive teams, and to me, that's very encouraging. That's why Mike Brown is here. That's one reason why Tibbs isn't here now, because he didn't find a way to do that. And so that is probably the pro of this loss. And the con is just the defense, but we need to fix that, and we were there. We're right there. We have to fix that, though.
Great point. And I think Nityak, I'm not sure who it was. Someone in the chat, they were trying. It was Nityak. This comment here, you see how bad we need Mitch. This was a game to where, based on how Mitch was playing, I would say up until the third quarter, this was a game you should have closed with Mitch if you had him, even if with Victor Wembanyama on the bench. Mitch would not have allowed that Luke Cornett offensive rebound. He certainly wouldn't have fouled him if he did have the offensive rebound. And he wouldn't have let De'Aaron Fox cut the Knicks in the last 5 minutes and pick and roll action with Cornett. None of that would have happened because Mitchell Robinson can do everything that Karl-Anthony Towns has no idea how to do. So, again, we weren't at full strength, but what team is, right? They didn't have Devin Vassell. That's a huge loss for them. That's our starting 3 and D3. That's a big piece. So I don't want to make that excuse. But a lot of the reasons we lost tonight would have been cleaned up if we had Big Dog and Mitchell Robinson out there.
Yeah, not only that, it's like, OG is a great defender. It is a load trying to guard Wemby when you're like 6'8". Like, there was one play where OG tried to box out and Cassell just threw the ball up in the air. And OG had to try to jump and get it, and Wemby just got it and dunked. And
vicious.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, if Mitch is there boxing out instead of OG, that lob pass isn't just like a guaranteed thing. Like, he can bother something like that. And those little, and even like, if you remember in the fourth quarter over the cup game, Wemby could not handle Mitch's offensive rebounding. He was right. the reason why the Knicks were able to get a lot of layups last time in that late game was because Mitch was just killing them on the boards. And you're right, Lee. I feel like Mitch being in the game today would have been a big deal for us. Unfortunately, I guess he's nursing an injury. And
no, they said it was just it's protocol. That's what they said.
They said it's I don't know, man.
They said it's injury management protocol.
2 games in a row is I don't know, man. Yeah. when it's an injury management, it's 2 games in a row. It makes me go, what's happening here? I don't know if that's really management. I feel like something is hurt or something. But that's
Mike Brown definitely tried to mitigate that by having the guards. As I mentioned earlier, Jordan Clarkson, that emphasis on boxing out from a guard position. It wasn't just Jordan Clarkson, too. I mean, Deuce had 3 rebounds. Brunson had 4 rebounds. Kolek had 3 rebounds. That was a point of an emphasis, I think, not having Mitchell Robinson. Still trying to at least neutralize and be competitive on the boards, but that's such a key part of our identity. So if we can be a great offensive rebounding team, at least we're not going to allow San Antonio to be a great rebounding team, which is why you saw our guys, the guards, boxing out on their bigs to try to neutralize that threat. But yeah, also – Phil Porto, man, my main man. Love you, brother. Hope you and your family are well. Can't wait for the next nightcap episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, good points, Lee. It didn't work. We still got our rebound by like 16, but no, I mean, what are you gonna do? We missing our 2 biggest rebounders, man. What are you gonna do? All right. Yep. Salute to the chat, though. I mean, I feel like I've everything I want to talk about, I've talked about. Next game will be January 2nd versus the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks will probably be upset that we beat them the last game, so they should be nice and pissed. Did you see something that said Lollipop Head wanted to be traded to the Knicks? Was that real? Because you could just be making stuff up. Okay, I figured. Okay, I was like, there's no way in hell Trey would actually be traded here. Like, that's kind of crazy. But yeah,
hell no. Leon better not even pick up the phone.
Hell no. But you already know me, Lee. Like, when you're a villain to NY, I don't want you here. Some people were like,
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember our conversation.
That team up with your ops thing, that is not that is not my jam. But I know some people are like, yeah, hell yeah, bring Trey. Like, hell no, what the hell? My skin will crawl. Ugh. Anyway, I'm glad that's not happening anymore. I'm glad that was fake.
Not all ops are the same. Some ops are super ops, and Trey Young is a super op. Let's be honest.
Oh, okay. That's what you mean by all ops are the same. Okay, there's ops and there's super ops.
He might be number 1. Him and Tyrese.
Yeah. 1, 2 for sure.
Yeah.
1, 2 for sure. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. But anywho, next game, January 2nd versus the ops, Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. I don't even know if we call them ops anymore. We pretty much dominated them
for sure
the last few seasons.
We have an overwhelmingly winning record against them since.
Yeah.
It was either the dice throw or the series that they beat us in the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. But we're playing those guys again, and I'm sure they'll try to meet us in the play-in or something. Meet us when they try to, get out the play-in again. All right. So, yeah. That's it though. I have nothing else to say. Do you have any bro picks for you?
Well, I think I sent you a private message in the StreamYard chat. Just a heads up. No bro pick, but I do have a new pick. I've been really impressed by the level of basketball that's being played across the NBA, and I want to give a special shout out because I've been very hard on him. Ja Morant balled the hell out last night against the Philadelphia 76ers, and I think it is the best basketball game of the season thus far. There's been a ton. Knicks Spurs was great in the cup as well, but that game last night went into overtime. VJ Edstrom, the rookie for Philadelphia 76ers, ended up hitting the game winner to win the game in overtime. But Ja Morant, man, he was absolutely incredible in the paint. So he's been my bro pick numerous times in this season and last season for his lack of effort, lack of care, all the off-the-court BS. I've even written an essay for The Guardian on it. But to me, his resilience last night in getting to the paint, not settling for threes, not settling for mid-range jumpers, but getting in the teeth of a defense. And Philly's big. Embiid played last night. He almost had a triple-double, and he was balling, getting whatever he wanted in the mid-range and at the rim. So my pick for the first time ever is Ja Morant for actually giving a damn and almost winning the game for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, I guess. Oh, I guess. All right, John Morant. John, fair, I guess.
Controversial, but fair.
Controversial, but fair. Okay, John Morant coming out, waking up from his sleep. Freaking Joel Embiid actually playing the game.
Yeah, he played great. Paul George was actually kind of decent too. It was a fun game.
I mean, the 76ers, by all intents and purposes, should be a good team. It just hurt all the damn time. Yeah, like they have
all the damn time
between George, Maxey. Now they got Edgecombe and Embiid. They should be a good team, but it's like lack of leadership and the freaking they're just injured all the time. Like you just don't believe that Embiid will ever be healthy enough to play 4 series in the playoffs. That's really what it comes down to. No matter what they flash in the regular season, by the time they get to game 75 or something, the breakdown is happening. So we'll see. We'll see.
Fair critique.
Unless they do the Mitch thing.
They should.
Just do the Mitch thing and just
shut them down. Kind of do it already, but not on purpose. Embiid is just like constantly injured, like him and George on that load management, aka washed and beat up.
Right, exactly. Washed and beat up for sure. All right. Well, let's see. I'm trying to hold on for a second. Oh man, good show though. It's funny enough. I was watching. Did you see the SNY article, Lee?
No.
Yes, you did. You sent it in the group chat.
Which one? Oh, the trade targets.
Yes, the trade targets. The trade targets. One of it's just funny because shout out to our girl B who was on the putback, and I think Lee asked a question about an actual trade target that the Knicks should actually target, and it was kind of an under the radar pick, and it ended up in an SNY article. It wasn't Ian though; it was somebody else.
Yeah,
but it made you think like, did somebody pick up on Lee's suggestion there? You want to tell them the suggestion, Lee?
By SNY?
Yeah, maybe.
Real quickly, I will name the 5 trade targets on there. They had Keon Ellis. This was written by David Wurzberger.
Shout out to David.
Keon Ellis, Saddiq Bey, Jose Alvarado, Andre Drummond or Precious Achiuwa, and finally Nicholas Batum. Who, yes, you're right. I asked when B was on there. I sent a question for Ian, and he answered. And Chris, what's his name? Winfield for the New York Daily News was also on there, and he liked the idea as well. But both of them admitted they had not heard any rumblings about a potential Batum move, even though the salary, everything made sense. You can trade, I believe, you can trade Yabu straight up for him if memory serves correct. I think Yabu makes more than Batum, but even if not, you can package Yabu and Pacom Dadier and sign Trey Jameson to a full-time deal, and it can work. With Brock Hour, anything's possible. But Batum, I mean, Yabu, I thought he played semi-decent tonight. I thought he got killed in rotation, but at the rim, I think he's been consistently decent at the rim. He had one closeout that I liked as well from 3. One closeout that I thought he closed out really well on the offensive player. I can't remember who it was. But overall, I mean, these are into the bench, break glass if necessary. But sometimes, if you remember that first series in Indiana, when Alec Burke came off the bench and did his thing, sometimes those guys can be super crucial. I don't know. I like someone who's been in the playoffs more time than he hasn't, and a career marksman from 3. He's shooting 40% this season. He didn't guard all 5 positions. He's played small ball 5 in the playoffs.
Right.
He was Embiid's backup at one point as a small ball 5 in Philly. So I don't know, man.
I might be for that. I'm not gonna hold you. I think that's a move. That's a sneaky little good move for a veteran team who's looking for some veteran leadership off the bench who could probably perform in a pinch, and coach would be very comfortable letting him get some minutes out there. And so I like that. Interestingly enough, I read the Keon Ellis one. I was like, would they really give up Keon Ellis like that? And it's like, even if we did get him, I don't see where he would fit here.
Me neither.
So it's like, I don't understand the need for that.
Yeah.
Even though I like him as a player. Andre Drummond is also kind of interesting because he's turned himself into like a 3-point snipe shooter and a decent rebounder. And it's like, I guess it depends on how do you feel about Hukporti. Like, because he's going to be taking minutes from Hukporti at that time. So it's like, do you buy the Hukporti defense is going to be good enough to play in the playoffs? Or do you go like, you know what? We have Drummond here who's going to be a good rebounder no matter where he goes. And he can actually stretch the floor a little bit. So that was an interesting wrinkle.
Intriguing. I'm sure this will come back up again when we start having our trade deadline. I haven't thought about. You're right. Andre Drummond has become a 3-point shooter. I forgot about that. Because when I saw that list, the only one I liked was Nicholas Batum. Obviously, I'm biased because it was my idea, but It seemed the most realistic too. There's no way we didn't Saddiq Bey. Someone's going to outbid us for that one. Keon Ellis. Why you need Keon Ellis when you have Decent Bride? There's overlap there. So I don't know, man. Whoever this role, whatever Yabu's traded for, is going to be someone who might even be out of the rotation. So at the end of the day, trust the kids.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. All right. I thought we was ending the show.
Dun.
I thought we was ending the show, and we started to talk about trade candidates and stuff, but I was actually kind of stalling. So
had to, man. You know what I mean?
I was actually stalling to bring this person back up here. Who do we got here?
Let's go!
What up?
Yeah.
What up, sis?
What's good, Ebony?
How you doing? I was hoping we were in this 2025 on a win, but
yeah.
I still like the team. I'm glad to be back up here with you guys.
Hell
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a while. The chat's been asking about you. They've been commenting. When's Ebony? Great show. Where's Ebony coming back? Great show. When's it? It's like when Ebony comes back, y'all gonna know because you're gonna see her. You're just holding it down until she gets back. And when she gets back, she's back. As you can see, she's back.
Yeah. life be life sometimes. You know how
life
that
goes. Life, yeah, man. So I don't know if we have we did a whole post game. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah. Even though we lost, again, you learn more from these type of games when you do take it out. You know, we went. The main reason we beat them, one of the main reasons we beat them last game, the Spurs, that is, last time, was because of Mitch Robinson and his offensive rebound and the second chance points. We didn't have that.
Facts.
So that kind of eliminated our advantage in that point. And the Spurs are a very good team. They mirror us almost in a lot of ways, in a lot of categories when you look at the team stats. When you talk about playing just disciplined team defense, not meaning getting a lot of steals or a lot of blocks, just making sure that I'm contesting your shots and we staying in front of people type vibes. That's what the Spurs really do. And you see that they're a team that is big on 2-point field goals, really, though. So when they hit the 3-point, it's almost, they automatic win for them almost. When they're hitting that 3, is an automatic win. That is the difference. That was what I tried to do the pregame. Right. That's what I was saying in the pregame. They're not a high volume shooting team, but if that 3 is going in for them, it's not good for the opposite team because they are so efficient in the 2. So again, it's a learning, just a learning game. You know, we broke down a couple times defensively. We had Jordan Clarkson not catch like a exit screen. He didn't step up and gives Champagne. I know I'm messing up his name. I call him Champagne. Like that's how I say Champagne anyway, playing around. I say Champagne, but yeah, just that broke down. And right after Cat not boxing out and giving up a offensive rebound for a putback, like stuff like that. But we learn from it that things you don't want to feel that in the clutch. So again, you watch the film and you rather than make these type of mistakes now than later. I just like how we're playing as a team defensively and play them babies. I apologize to Tyler. I still not too high on Huck. I'm not a believer just yet. And but the two rookies that I was high, and I was wrong about Dottie, but right. But I was still right. I was on my Terrence Howard, y'all. I was wrong, but I could have been right. Cause I said that Dottie, one of my concerns about him was, does he have the same mentality as Frank, as Nakina? Does he have the aggressiveness, the dog? And that seemed to be the problem with him, that his aggression, they want to see him be more aggressive, and he's kind of maybe timid is what I'm reading on the situation a little bit, playing wise. So, but I was big on McCullough because I said he reminded me of Josh Hart, and that I think he could play a role. Same thing with Mo. Like, just seeing anybody that plays, you see Deuce, y'all see Deuce step up big, come right back in his role, and game straight. The games that he's been. Last game he was big on tied in game. I think about 2-3 times down the stretch he was either taking the lead for us or tying the game in the Pelicans game. And then he did again the same thing when clutch time. Deuce, he coming through, and that's another thing that I do. I hear with I do hear like with the Knicks is that our offense is unpredictable down the stretch. It's not just even though it can be just Brunson, it's not. You have Deuce, you have Clarkson, you have different people making plays on both ends, and that's what you want, because everybody knows that the ball is going, or they think the ball is going into Jalen Brunson's hands. And when you don't do it and you don't have to do it, like, how do you stop this team? So, yes, we lost today. I'm just taking the positives out of it, of what I've seen, and I think it's sustainable. I really don't want any trades because you see what we're doing with everybody.
We never want any trades, Ebony, to be honest with you. But this might be the year I actually agree with you. This might be the year.
Yeah, because you mess up the chemistry. You get what I mean? You have to get that back. You have to put them into the fold. You have to get them comfortable. You got to go through. You have to see how this new person reacts to when things are not good. You get what I mean? You pretty much know what these people that you're working with right now, how to get under their skin or whatever, how to make them move, whatever the case may be. Then you got to do this with this whole new person. It just takes some time that I feel like we shouldn't have to. We don't need to take, because we have a lot of pieces, and I mentioned about Mo playing into his role, because he is that. I seen it. He has that specialist type of role, and his work ethic. You heard about that and seen it. You see it too. So he's going to be something, and just it's kind of like two timelines. You're letting your youth. You letting them work through playing in the games. I saw Mike Brown. He could have took them out. What was it? The Atlanta game, I believe. He could have took them out when he took Kolick out for a Brunson defense type of vibes. But he left them in there, even on the offensive end. Get them that experience, the clutch experience. So if we need them in playoff time, they're not feeling like Jared Allen and the lights is too bright. So I like what we're doing, and I know people say leave Tibbs alone, but I feel like we wasted time, and this is why I was such a not Tibbs fan, because I know what team basketball gets you. True team basketball gets you.
Can I just say that hearing Ebony come on the show and repeat the two X's and O's things that I pointed out, being Mitch on Cornette at the end of a game and Carson and others didn't be on those flare strings for Champagne, makes me feel like that it's a job well done on my part, that I've been answering. I'm finally seeing what Ebony was seeing. So I feel very confirmed that the effort is paying off when she comes on and repeats the same thing that I did. So double blessings to you, Ebony, for teaching me the good word.
Absolutely.
Student of the game lead. Definitely.
All right. Welcome back, Ebony. All right, yo. I think it's time to end the show. It is what, 35
Jay, one more
minutes
time before we. I know I ain't been here in forever and I came late. I'm sorry, but curl screens are our kryptonite, yo. The curl, as soon as a team come up a curl screen, it's over for us. It seems like. We got to get our screen navigation defense a little bit tighter. I think they need to watch a lot of Dwayne Wade. He was good at that. He was good at avoiding curl screens. He had a little method where he would be on the outside shoulder. And so maybe they need to do that because every time it's a curl play, it's an easy bucket for somebody on the opposite team. We got to get that together. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Curl screens, man. Curl screens. Curl screens. I feel like I've seen flare screens. I feel like I've seen stack pick and rolls.
Yeah. We got killed in everything.
Got killed. Everything. We got killed. We got killed in every which way. It was all bad.
We got killed in the same actions that we employ on other teams too. We can execute it, but we can't defend it. It's mind-boggling. Super frustrating to watch a team do that.
Absolutely. It's crazy. It's super crazy. All right, but yeah. Like I said, though, we'll be back versus the Atlanta Hawks, and hopefully, we do what we have to do and get back on the winning ways. Hopefully, Mitch will come back. Mitch is supposed to be actually back the next game or the game after, so hopefully he's back in full effect, holding down the paint because I do feel like we might have had rebounding issues with the Hawks as well. So hopefully, we have Mitch back for one of those games. All right. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. Ebony, let me know where they can find you.
Well, you can find me here, making my way back to, so you can find me here after every post game or pre-game. You can find me on at Mad Knicks Fan at TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, just about every social media. And yeah, that's about it. And shout out to everybody, the chat and KOT and everybody that hit me up. Again, I appreciate the love and the support. And I miss you guys.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, miss you, Ebony. Welcome back. All right. And Lee, let them know they can find you.
On Twitter at _Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo. And brand new article for The Guardian came out today. Who is the next face of the NBA? I'll drop a link in the chat. I always appreciate you guys. You guys do a great job of sharing my work and retweeting my work and giving me feedback on my work. It's very much appreciated. I never feel like that I'm writing just to an empty room. I feel like the KOT crew, my family, as well as the fans are constantly showing love and giving me feedback on the stuff that I write. It really means a lot to me because that's what I want to be known for the most is as a writer. So just drop a link in the chat. Give me feedback. To tell me if you agree with me on who I think the next face of the NBA is. Just know that my pick is always going to be American. So I picked an American player.
I'll show that biasly. All right, cool. All right, you can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick Of Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick Of Time Show on Facebook as well. Shout out to Fritz who puts our stuff on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher because he's the best mind in the game. Thank you for holding that down for us, Fritz. All right. Also, yeah. Please subscribe. We're so close to 9K followers, especially if you're on Twitter land and you've been watching this on Twitter and you haven't subscribed yet. Please subscribe to the channel. All right. YouTube.com/the Knick Of Time Show. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out to Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.